Gibsons. And it came to pass when all the kings who were on the side of Jordan, in the hills and the lowland and all the coast of the great sea of towards Lebanon, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Canaanite, and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites heard about it. They gathered together to fight with Joshua and Israel with one accord. But when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they were crafty, and they went and pretended to be ambassadors. They took the old sacks and the donkeys and the old whiteskins and met it, old patch and sandals on their feet, and old garments on themselves. And all the bread and provision was dry and moldy. And when they went to Joshua to the camp of Gibeon and said to him, to the men of Israel, we have come from a faraway country. Now therefore make a covenant with us. When the men of Israel said to the Hivites, perhaps you dwell among us, so how can we make a covenant with you? But they said to Joshua, we are your servants. And Joshua said to them, who are you? Where do you come from? And they said to him, from a very far country your servants have come, because of the name of the Lord for your God. For we have heard his fame and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon the king of Heshbon, and Og the king of Bashan, who was at Esron. Therefore our elders and the inhabitants of our country spoke to us, saying, take provision with you for the journey. They go meet them, and said to them, we are servants. Now therefore make a covenant with us. This bread of yours we took hot and our provision from our houses on the day we departed to come to you. But they looked dry and moldy, and with this wineskins which we filled was new, and see, they are torn our garments, and our sandals have become old because of a very long journey. Wow. So so the one thing I kind of got for this was, after I'm sorry, I keep stuttering. After Joshua defeated Ai, he was known around the world, and people noticed that, and so people were working craftily, and then some of them were pretending to be ambassadors. And then, and as they were pretending to be ambassadors, they took things such as old sacks from the donkeys and old white skins.
Yep, on verse
And
4
old garments. Yeah, so you can already tell that you can already tell that Joshua is becoming famous because he defeated Ai from Joshua 8. It says right here in verse 3. But when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they worked craftily, and they went to pretending to be ambassadors.
Yep, I see that. And so, but I'm confused. I know that they're getting famous, but what is the point of it? Is because I know that their fame is getting out there, but why would you lie and do this? Like, what is the craftiness behind it? They want Joshua to the camp of Gilgal and said to him, to the men of Israel, we have come from a far country, and therefore make a covenant with. Oh, they want to make a covenant with them.
Yeah, they want to make a covenant with him, so that's the reason why they were working craftily with him. That term craftily, I think what they mean is, like, how do you say it? Watch your step, or watch your move that you're gonna make.
I like Joshua what he said though in verse 8 on the second part. It says, who are you and where do you come from? Like, he's confused because this is just happening all too suddenly.
Yeah, because Joshua says right here, but in the beginning of verse 8, but they said, Joshua, we are your servants.
Notice,
but like, but that kind of just means the fact that he's saying that we're not higher than anyone else. We are considered your servants rather than us being the leaders. Because I think it goes back to Joshua 8, because because ever since Joshua defeated Ai, he was becoming famous and known around. So then probably when the people came, when the Gibeonites came and the people tried to talk to Joshua, they're realizing that they need to be careful with Joshua.
Oh yeah.
But I can tell by verse 8, Joshua is trying to say the fact that it came from God and not from me. So he's trying to be humble about it.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so I go on to 16, right? Or is it? No, wait.
14.
14. I am so sorry.
It's okay.
Then the men of Israel took some of their provisions, but they did not ask counsel of the Lord. So Joshua made peace with them and made a covenant with them and let them live. And the rulers of the congregation swore to them. And it happened in the end of 3 days. After they had made a covenant with them, they heard that they were their neighbors who dwell near them. Then the children of Israel journeyed and came to their city on the 3rd day. Now their city were Gibeons, Shephirah, Beryl, Kirjah, Jearim. But the children of Israel did not attack them because of the rules of the congregation as sworn to them by the Lord God of Israel. And the congregation complained against the rulers. Then the ruler said to the congregation, we have sworn to the Lord the God of Israel. Now therefore we may not touch them. This we will do to them. We will let them live, lest wrath be upon us because of the oath which we swore to them. And the rulers said to them, let them live, but let them be woodcutters and water carriers, and all the congregation of the rulers had promised them. Then Joshua called for them, and he spoke to them, saying, why have you deceived us, saying, we are very far from you, when you dwell near us? Now therefore you are cursed, and none of you shall be free from being slaves, woodcutters, and water carriers for the house of my God. Then they answered Joshua and said, because your servant was clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore we were very much afraid of the lies because of you. And you have done these things, and now here we are, in your hands to do with us as it is seems good and the right to do so. Now he said to them, and deliver them out of the hand of the children of Israel, so that they did not kill them. That that day Joshua made woodcutters and water carriers in congregation for the altar of the Lord, and the place which he would choose, even to this day. So now we understand why they did it.
Yeah.
Because you said it earlier, their popularity. So if their popularity got so far and word got spread that they were promised a land that was flowing with milk and honey, you know, in the days of Moses. So everyone's going to hear about that and be afraid, because that whole land, that plot is for Joshua and the children of Israel, like the promise through Abraham, Isaac, and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was promised to the Israelites. So that's the part that's very interesting. That they pretended to be faraway neighbors to get them to make a covenant, not to hurt each other, to make a peace treaty, and they lied to them. So it's weird because they try to. It's crazy because Israel tried to comprehend it. Like they were trying to say, "Oh, let's just let them live with us," and they lie to us, but we can't attack them because we swore, to them that we wouldn't.
Right. No, that makes sense.
But now, in the end, Joshua said, he said, and now here we are in your hands to do as God seems right to you. And so he seemed to deliver them out of the hand of each other. I forgot what. Oh yeah, Joshua made them woodcutters and water carriers for the congregation did for the altar of the Lord and the place by which he chooses, even to this day. So Joshua cursed them. So the people that he made a covenant with, they can't hurt them because they made that promise, but they made them woodcutters and water carriers. So they basically made them somewhat like slaves in some way.
Right.
Yeah, like they were under. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sounds about right. They were made slaves and they were made under his servant, his thumb, his rule. Because again, it goes back to after the fact that when he defeated Ai, popularity grew for Joshua, and people had to be very crafty with him. So I mean, at the end of the day, it just talks about the fact on how these people probably are plotting something bad to do Joshua later on. But we'll figure out more as we read Joshua.
Yeah, so it's in verse 23. If you read that, that's where it tells you.
Yeah, now therefore you are cursed, and none of you shall be free from being slaves. Yeah.
So Joshua made it known by the house of God. So that's where we want to end it. Thank you, whoever tuned in to watch this. We're doing the whole Bible. So we started off in Genesis, and we're going to continue to finish the whole Bible. So that was Joshua 9. Tomorrow we will try to read Joshua 10. So thank you for tuning in. We are your fellow neighbors and your brothers, and we hope you learned something here today. So, peace.
Peace.